measurement of economic performance, we're talking about how a country is doing within its jurisdiction. Is the country doing well or not doing well? That is the performance. Do you get the point? Performance here. Are you doing well as a nation or you're not doing well? So how do we measure the economic performance of a country? Before we go deep into how to measure the economic performance of a country, we need to understand that in an economy, there's the macro side of the economy and there's the micro side of the economy and there's the macro side of the economy. Sorry, I didn't get it. There's the micro side of the economy and there's the macro side of the economy. So when we talk about the micro side of the economy, we're talking about the study of the individual in the market within the economy, the study of the individual market within an economy. That is micro. Just about what happens in between the markets. That is micro. But when we're talking about what happens in the whole economy, it means macro. Do you get the difference between micro and macro? Micro studies the individual markets. That means, the market for education, the market for insurance, the market for banking, the market for agriculture. This is micro. But when we have to study the whole of the economy, we're talking about macroeconomics. Do we understand the difference here? Do you understand the difference, please?
Yes.
So here I wrote, this implies, for the performance I wrote, this implies to the performance of both the macroeconomics and the microeconomics, which I just explained now. Here, we're talking about the whole. Here we're talking about the individual. When we talk about individual, we're not talking about people. Stop right in place. We're not talking about people. We're talking about the market, the industry, which could be education, which could be health sector, which could be agriculture, whatever sector we're talking about. It is micro. But when we have to talk about how goods and services are being provided in an economy, we're talking about macroeconomics. I think it's clear. So to measure the national economic performance of the country, we're talking about national, we're talking about the country itself. National means what? The country. National means what? The country, thank you. So one of the reasons why macroeconomics is useful is because it tells something about the economy. It helps economies to measure the performance of today with that of yesterday. So are we doing well now or are we doing well in the past? What is our performance now, this year of 2023, and our performance of 2022? This is what macroeconomics is going to help us to do. So with macroeconomics, economists are able to understand their performance, the country's performance compared to the previous year. Is it clear to hear? Is it clear, please? Great. Now, how do we measure, before we go there, so what is an economy itself? An economy is a system that is trying to solve the basic economic question or problems. This is an economy, this is a country. A country is the same as what? An economy. So Libya as a country is trying to solve its own economic problem, which is scarcity. So how is it going to be able to solve it? It's going to be able to solve it through economic system. There's the economy, which is what? Trying to understand how this economy will do well, how to manage the scarce resources. That is what an economy is. That's why we said it is a system that is trying to solve the basic economic problem. But to solve these basic economic problems, we need a mechanism. The mechanism is what we call economic system. So what is the economic system? It is the mechanism that decides what to produce, how to produce, and whom to produce to. So what do we have to produce in this country will be decided by the economic system. How are we going to be able to produce it will be decided by the economic system. Who are we going to produce for? Those that are going to be beneficiary of this performance, of this production, is going to be decided by the economic system. I think the economic system is clear. So now, is it clear, please? Now we go to how we measure the performance of an economy. We can measure the performance of the economy through what? Economic growth. We can measure through inflation, we can measure through the balance of payment, and we can measure through unemployment. So we start with economic growth. When we talk about economic growth, we're talking about the output of an economy, what we produce in this country, in terms of goods, in terms of services. So if we are producing more in this country, that means our output is increasing, then it will reflect on our GDP, our gross domestic product. It measures the country's output. So if we are producing more, that means our GDP will rise. Because when we produce more, we'll be able to sell out of the country and we'll be able to sell within the country. Do we understand what economic growth is here? talking about the output of our country, what we are producing in terms of goods and services. If our output increases, our GDP will definitely increase. That's about that. The second one, unemployment. Yeah. So quickly talk about recession. When there is a positive economic growth, it means output is increasing. But when a country is witnessing 2 consecutive negative growth in a year, it is called recession. Or the economy, the output of our country is going down. Things are falling in an economy. 2 consecutive quarters, that means within a year, we are witnessing a negative economic growth. Things are coming down. Output is falling. We call it what? Recession. Do you understand what recession is here? A fall in the country's GDP. A negative economic growth for 2 consecutive quarters is called recession. Do you understand recession here? So when we have GDP, which is what? The measurement of our country's output. If our output is falling, then the country might witness recession. Is it clear? Is it clear? Yes. So we can measure the performance of our country through the output we produce. Number 1. 2, unemployment. What is unemployment? Unemployment is a situation whereby those that are willing and able to work, that are within the age category to work, are unable to get a job. That is unemployment. But a country that is witnessing a reduction in the unemployment rate will mean that things are working fine in that economy. That means people have jobs. And when people have jobs, what happens? Goods and services will be produced in that economy. Do we understand? So a country with low unemployment rate will mean that they have increase in employment rates. And when there's increase in employment rate, there's what? An increase in goods and services produced in that economy. Is it clear? Do you have a question? The third one, inflation. What is inflation? Inflation is the persistent rise in the price of goods and services. A country that is witnessing a fall in inflation will mean that price of goods and services in that country is falling. Then the country economy will be fine. People will be able to afford things that they can afford. But a country witnessing a negative, positive economic growth or a positive inflation rate means that prices in that country is increasing, which might not be good for the economy. So a positive inflation is what? An increase in the price. A negative inflation is what? A fall in the price. And the last one, the balance of payment. When we talk about balance of payment, we're talking about the measurement of the country's import and export, which is balance of trade. Export is what? The production we make for our foreign customers. Imports are what? The things we bring in from our foreign businesses, So there's balance of trade surplus and balance of trade deficit. A surplus means that what we are selling out in export is more than our import. And deficit means that what we are selling in, what we are bringing in, is more than what we are taking out. Do you have any question about it?